From their first appearance in 1987 as characters in a series of animated shorts on the Tracy Ullman Show, The Simpsons have become cultural icons in a way so few other fictional characters have. With almost 800 episodes at the time of writing, The Simpsons have gotten into all kinds of adventures, from Homer buying a snowplow to Marge trying to overcome her fear of flying. Over the literal decades the show has been on the air, the world in which The Simpsons family inhabit has become full to the brim with different characters. Many of these characters came into being to fit a basic archetype of some kind, and the basicness of these characters were often seen in their names. For example, the guy who runs the comic book store, we'll just call him Comic Book Guy. Or what about the guy who's really into disco? We'll just call him Disco Stu. But like I said, this show's been around for a seriously long time. And as the show kept going and going, many of these characters who came into being as simple one-dimensional caricatures have gone on to become far more developed. And over the years, their full names have actually been revealed to us, even though many are still known by just their nickname or first name. So that's exactly what this video is all about. We are looking into these characters from this beloved show who aren't known by their true names, and sharing what they actually are. We won't really be explaining the names of these folks per se, as there isn't much out there revealing why the creators of the show chose these names. It's just a fun look into some deeper Simpsons lore. Also, this video is going out on my birthday, so I wanted to do something a little more silly and fun to celebrate, and you know, I love The Simpsons, I'm part of that generation. There's kind of three categories of characters I want to cover in this video. Characters who are known mainly by their last name along with a title of some kind, characters known mainly just by their first name along with a title of some kind, and of course those who are just known by a nickname. Let's start with those who are just known by their last name, shall we? And I also want to cover these from names you're most likely to least likely know about. So why not start with everyone's favourite evil old man, Mr. Burns. Burns runs the nuclear power plant which employs Homer, among many other characters, and is most known through his advanced age and extreme wealth. While most commonly referred to as just Mr. Burns, he's often referred to as Monty Burns, but that isn't actually his first name. Monty is just a shortening of his middle name of Montgomery, and his true first name is Charles. This is why he's often referred to as C. Montgomery Burns, or just CM Burns. CM Burns, CM Burns. Sorry, the wrestling fan came out at me. But it turns out his name is actually way longer than this, however, as his full name has been revealed to be Charles Montgomery Plantagenet Schicklgruber Burns. You know, I was wondering why that name of Schicklgruber sounded familiar to me, and it turns out I covered it in a video many years ago. A video that's super popular of mine, but I can't really talk about it for monetization reasons. I'm sure you know the one I'm talking about. But I guess this is an implication that Burns has connections to that family, shall we say. But moving on from Mr. Burns, we have his ever loyal assistant, who is simply known as Smithers to most of us. His first name is actually Waylon, and his full name is revealed to be Waylon J. Smithers Jr., as his father had the exact same name. I did try and find out what the J stood for, and some sources said Joseph. But this is The Simpsons we were talking about. It could easily just stand for J. Moving on to some more well-known figures, we have Springfield's head of police, Chief Wiggum, whose first name is Clancy. Likewise, the town's leading doctor, Dr. Hibbert, has the first name of Julius, and the leading religious figure of the town, Reverend Lovejoy, has the first name of Timothy. I feel like all of those are pretty well known of, but did you know that Springfield's Mayor Quimby has the first name of Joseph? And if you did know that, then did you know his full birth name is actually Joseph Fitzgerald O'Malley Fitzpatrick O'Donnell The Edge Quimby Jr.? This is most likely a reference to the fact that Quimby is heavily inspired by US President JFK, hence the many Irish names. And I really appreciate the fact they just shoved the Edge in there too, as an ode to the Irish band U2 and their bass player. Another one worth highlighting is Professor Frink, whose full name is actually John IQ Nerdlebaum Fink Jr. Though perhaps the most obscure of these has to be of everyone's favourite steamed hams connoisseur, Super Nintendo Chalmers. For the longest time, he's been known as just that, but it was only in a more recent episode his actual first name was revealed, with it being Garibaldi, but seemingly he is more known as just Gary. Moving on to characters known primarily by their first names, we have Lenny and Carl, Homer's co-workers and drinking buddies. These two have to be covered together as they pretty much always come as a pair. Lenny's full name is actually Lenford Leonard, and Carl's is Carlton Carlson. I feel these are pretty well known, but it's a good place to start. Likewise, Cletus's last name of Spuckler is somewhat well known of too, but it turns out his full name is Cletus Delroy Montford Bigglesworth Spuckler. This name seems to have been given to him as a joke, a huge posh sounding name for a character who's often portrayed as the polar opposite of posh. Old Gil is a reoccurring character who is always in desperate need of a break, and since his debut it has been revealed that his true name is Gil Gunderson. Springfield's mob boss is commonly referred to as Fat Tony, but this is simply a nickname of his full title, Marion Anthony D'Amico, a fitting Italian-American name for this guy. Springfield Elementary School's handyman and general caretaker is commonly known as just Groundskeeper Willie, but his last name has actually been revealed to us too, being McDougall, which is fittingly Scottish. Apparently he is a doctor too, something I wasn't aware of and I have no idea when it was revealed. I mentioned Disco Stew up top. He has to be one of the most one-note characters in The Simpsons. Surely he hasn't got a proper name too. Well, it turns out he does, but don't get too excited, as it's simply Stuart Discotheque, a resoundingly fitting name for someone who is, supposedly, so into disco. One I was interested in knowing was the true name of Sideshow Mel, Krusty the Clown's long-serving helper. It turns out his full name is actually Melvin Van Horn. And finally, I wanted to cover Lou and Eddie, the two cops who assist the Wiggum in most of his tasks. Well, it turns out they have never been given last names, but who knows, maybe they will one day in the future. But now we arrive at the many characters who aren't commonly known by either their first or last name, but instead simply nicknames and such. The first of these I ought to highlight is Krusty the Clown, who kind of goes by his last name. His full name is Herschel Shmoyelkel Pinchas Yolasham Klostovsky, and apologies about my pronunciation there, but this is all learned in the episode all about his childhood and him reconnecting with his father. This means that Krusty is simply an adaptation of his last name of Krostovsky. Bumblebee Man is another celebrity of Springfield, and his real name is Pedro Chespolito. But then we have Comic Book Guy, someone I highlighted at the start of this video. For the longest time his name was a mystery, but it has since been revealed to be Jeffrey Albertson. Snake is the go-to criminal of The Simpsons, often seen behind bars or holding up the Quickie Mart. His name is often revealed to be Snake Jailbird, but even beyond that his full name has been revealed as Chester Turley. Springfield's resident sea captain is known as just that, the sea captain, but even his real name has been revealed to be Horatio McAllister, with that first name most likely an ode to one Horatio Nelson, another famous seafarer. The rich Texan who pops up often shooting his guns into the air has been given the fitting name of Richard Rich Texan. Even the crazy cat lady has been given a proper name too. It has been revealed that her real name is Eleanor Abernathy. Then we have the character who is commonly referred to as just Wise Guy. He's that bald mustache guy who does a variety of jobs around Springfield. His real name is only half known of to us, with it being Raphael. What his second name is remains a mystery to us seemingly. This isn't the only case of a character's name only being somewhat known of. Take the squeaky voiced teen, who too is seen around town doing all kinds of low paying jobs. He has been referred to as multiple names over the years, including Jeremy, Andrew, and Steve. The crew have seemingly never really landed on one specific name for him. Likewise, we have the character who simply is called the Old Jewish Man. This guy has never been given a proper name. The closest we got was Mr. Solomon, which featured in a deleted scene. And you know what? I'm not entirely sure if a Simpsons deleted scene is considered canon or not. But now we move on to some really niche stuff, like Duffman, the mascot of Duff Beer. It turns out his real name is Barry Duffman. Well, kind of. Duffman is a fictional character in the world of The Simpsons, and that fictional character's name is Barry Duffman, while his alias is Duffman. In the reality of The Simpsons, the Duffman character has been played by a variety of different actors, one of the most known of names of these actors being Chip Davies. But then we have Radioactive Man too, the most popular superhero in the world of The Simpsons. This is another case of a fictional character existing within this fictional world. His true identity has been revealed to us, but seemingly not in the show itself, but rather in the real world Radioactive Man comics, which have been published throughout the years. His name is simply Claude Kane III. I'm going to imagine that the Kane last name is an ode to Bob Kane, one of the co-creators of Batman. And the final character I want to highlight is Mr. Teeny, Krusty's chain-smoking monkey sidekick. It turns out there have been multiple monkeys that have played the Mr. Teeny character, with the current one having the real name of Louis Toot. But from store clerks to authority figures to fictional characters within this fictional world, it seems that pretty much everyone has a true name, despite how obscure it might seem. But this is only a tiny handful of the countless characters which have appeared in The Simpsons over the years. If there's anyone I've forgotten to cover, please let me know. I feel like there's going to be someone super obvious I haven't mentioned. I mean, I was going to cover Grandpa Simpson, but we all know his name is Abe, right? And if you really want to know the actual origins of many Simpsons character names, all I'm going to say is look at various street names in Portland, Oregon, where the series creator Matt Groening comes from, and you'll start to get a clear idea. Also, if I write some more, the word count will be 1987, which is the year this cartoon debuted.
Name Explain depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explain videos, and your name at the end of the video with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/NameExplain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and once again, thank you all so much.